Hi, I'm Javier Muñoz, and I, along with Molly Braverman of Broadway Green Alliance, Jeff Whitting of Open Jar Studios, together we've created the Broadway Relief Project. Our mission is to help manufacture much needed PPEs for our frontline healthcare workers here in New York City. When we were getting this started, we had no idea where to turn, who could help us, who we directly could go to really make this manifest. And the EDC here in New York City answered our call. They are the reason we exist. So, we have a special guest today, and that's President and CEO of the EDC, James Patchett.
Sure.
For folks who are watching who are unfamiliar with the EDC, I of course know who you are, but
Sure.
would you mind introducing yourself and speak a little bit about what the EDC is and does?
Sure. So happy to. And thanks so much for taking the time to chat. So the EDC is the city's Economic Development Corporation. It's an organization of about 500 people, and we do all kinds of things, including managing over 60 million square feet of property in the city, which we're always trying to do everything we can to maximize for economic impact in the city. And also, crucially, we have relationships around the city with a whole bunch of different companies in the manufacturing world, in the technology world, and otherwise. And right now, we've been leveraging all those relationships to do everything we can to pitch in to fight coronavirus.
Amazing. This is a rare opportunity for folks to get a sort of, fireside chat glimpse into what's happening in our government through this. What were those early days like as things were shifting? I know for me, I literally overnight woke up to my show closed, and I was packing up my dressing room, and I was home in quarantine in a matter of 4 hours.
Yeah.
So what were those sort of initial days like from your perspective?
Well, I'm not part of the health apparatus, so in many ways the experience was the same. It was sudden. We had made a decision to move our office to work from home. I think around the same time, but it was we moved pretty quickly at EDC to try to get ahead of this. But the reality is, I think for every New Yorker, whether it was a few hours or a few days, it was sudden and it was dramatic in terms of the way it changed our lives.
Amazing. Yes. And um, obviously in the process that we at the Broadway Relief Project, which I'm still shocked that we exist even, but
Yeah.
for us in those early days, we just wanted to help. We wanted to try our best to contribute in some way. Amongst all of the people and the organizations and efforts that were sort of happening, what drew the EDC to our effort? What was appealing, and what need did we fill?
So, we over the last few weeks, one of the most crucial efforts we've been working on is seeking to provide personal protective equipment to our healthcare workers, our frontline people who are out there fighting this virus every day. And you know, in this case, what we've been working on in particular is creating face shields and isolation gowns for those workers. We've also been working in other places, like to create a new ventilator model,
Mm,
to provide test kits, and many other fronts that we're focused on right now. But this personal protective equipment is particularly close to our hearts because we know it goes straight to these frontline workers who are in desperate need of it. And I'll tell you, one of the things that's particularly inspirational about your story and the story, of some of the other companies we're working with, is how it's putting New Yorkers who are out of their jobs back to work. And a lot of these people, whether it's Broadway seamstresses or it's seamstresses in Sunset Park who had been
mm.
sent home because their factory closed. These are people who need access to a stream of income, especially at this challenging time. And the opportunity in these partnerships to be able to have a real win-win is a really special thing. An opportunity to both protect our workers and also put workers back to work.
Amazing. Thank you. And last question. Uh, it feels like there are a lot of grassroots efforts that are having such a great impact. Folks just rising to the call of action. And what impact has just the regular person had, from your perspective, on this fight to get through this time?
think it's so inspirational what everyday New Yorkers are doing. I mean, I'll just give you an example. Colleagues at EDC who heard about someone, unfortunately, who was hospitalized with COVID and their spouse and family were quarantined. So they took it on themselves to deliver food to their doorstep because they knew they couldn't go out for food. It's everything from that to, in this case, people who are pitching in to sew these garments and provide them to hospital workers. It really is impressive to see New Yorkers stepping up with their bravery, their ingenuity, their creativity, and their willingness to pitch in, even in the face of something that is, honestly pretty challenging for everyone. This is not an easy fight, but it's inspirational to me every day to wake up to these stories of people who are just doing everything in their power to pitch in and make sure that we come out of this even stronger on the other side. And I just want to say it's a huge honor to be working with your effort and the Broadway Relief Project, because it's those kinds of stories that get us out of bed in the morning and make us feel good about the work that we're doing. And it's just really special to see people doing this kind of work in partnership with government.
Thank you so much for that. and thank you for believing in us and supporting us so that we could exist and be able to put this energy that we all collectively have to work. Are there any last words, any ideas or thoughts that you wanted to add before we go?
No, I would just say thank you to all of you for the work that you're doing, for the people of Broadway who are pitching in to help their fellow workers and actors in this challenging time. Everyone needs help from the federal government on down, but they also need help from their local networks. And I think that is the thing that's going to get us through this.